What do you be, Lab Rats? This is episode number, 106. And today we're talking about loving the unglamorous. Stay tuned. Hey, welcome back to the lab. My name is Megan, and as always, I'm joined by my dope co-host, Dre Bailey. What's up, Dre?
Hey, Meg, how you doing?
Good, man.
Missed you last week.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was in Vegas boozing up with the big dogs. No, just kidding. I was in New Media Expo, so thank you very much, Dre, for creating and that guest post for me. I really appreciate it. Here in Get in the Lab, it's really all about community and you Lab Rats, contributing, and I really love that. So that was a cool, experimental video. How'd you like it, man? Did you like coming on?
I like doing it. Yeah, it was cool. It had to make it let me. I had to think wow, I'm on a different channel because I host my own channel, so I'm talking about totally something I don't do.
Yeah.
It was it was different. I liked it because I like doing a variety of different things. I like that aspect. I like being you for a day.
Yeah.
That's
stepping into very, very small shoes.
Yeah. I was Meg. I was in the lab all alone.
All alone in the lab. See, now you know what I go through, man. Which is exactly what we're going to talk about in this episode. I don't know if that was glamorous for you, but talking about loving the unglamorous parts of life and of business and the hustle, the grind. It's always nice when you get, this is something that we talk about in photography, right? Because I come from a photography background, is getting the money shot or, shooting really nice portraits and doing that whole thing. But I wanted to share a little bit about, shooting candids, which is something that I hated at first because it was unglamorous. It was boring. It was, it was difficult for one thing. It was the tedious sort of thing. You have to kind of wait for the moment to happen and all of this stuff. But as I began to just keep shooting, I began to love it. And, what are your thoughts, Dre, on, kind of learning to love the unglamorous parts of shooting or of running a business or all of that stuff?
I don't know. If you just put it into context,
yeah.
If you see how, because everything matters, you need the stuff that's
key
not
right there, man. I'm going to put that in big letters. Everything matters.
Once let's say Red Lobster, I always have these analogies or something. There's somebody that put the pictures and decided what type font to use in the menus and all that stuff that you don't even think about that creates the Red Lobster experience.
Yep.
Not necessarily endorsing Red Lobster, but a restaurant experience.
Right.
And it took a lot of time to do that. And I'm sure that's not fun. Nobody cares about who was the text editor for the menu.
Well, maybe somebody does, right? Maybe somebody's like, oh man, I'm going to get this Red Lobster font and it's going to be dope as hell.
Yeah, look at that T. Look at that.
Dude, I bet you there's somebody like that, though. I bet you. Because I'm a weirdo about things like that, too.
Okay, so 99.99% of us don't care, and it's that 0.01 guy.
That weirdo, that 0.01. Hey, I love the 0.01, okay? I'm totally the 0.01.
It matters because if that 0.01 guy messes up the menu, you realize this menu is messed up, I can't even read it, and then you don't even like the food before they serve it. So it's everything. It's funny how we went into that because it just shows you everything is pretty important. Everything is important. And once you realize that it's important to the business, you should, with me, I would love it just because it's important. So I think if you think it's unimportant, just learn how it fits its place in the business, the place, that you're trying to be, the overall picture.
Yeah.
And then I think you could actually develop a love for what you do.
Right.
What do you think about that?
Or, a lot of other entrepreneurs would say, oh, just, what do you call that? Outsource it. Just outsource it. Just hire somebody to do it. But you know what?
I know a lot of us are control freaks, and that's so hard to do.
Yeah. I don't know. I was just thinking about it because it was really annoying for me to go. Kevin would go tell me, right, when I was still learning how to be a photographer. and kind of just learning my place, whatever, building the skills. He would go tell me, go second shoot, go get some candids. I'm like, oh, okay. And I would go do it. And then, I would learn to love it because there's actually a lot of skill in shooting candids, I would say. Like, because I was just telling you earlier, Dre, like, there's a lot of, primary photographers that they don't do it because they tell somebody else to do it. And they've kind of lost that skill of shooting really good candids. Because you have to spin it in such a way where it's like, okay, how can I take this mundane, tedious job of shooting candids or answering emails or whatever mundane task that you have in front of you, and how do I give still 110%? How do I still give my heart into it? How do I still put my stamp on it and take pride in what I'm producing? Because everything that you put your hands on, especially online, like you said, Dre, it matters. It matters. It so matters. And I think we got a lot of good quotes out of this episode that you were talking about. And I can't wait to create some cool promotional things off of that, just because, you had a lot of good quotes. But everything matters. And if you can always give your heart in everything you do, like you said, Dre, man, that's just going to make you, people are going to take notice, right? They're going to take notice of that. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I mean, I think as people, we notice everything. We notice it. We notice when it goes wrong. Let's put it that way. Yeah. And that's why your job is so important. I mean, or when you're doing those type of jobs, because it's unnoticed, but you can't make it. It has to be right, because when it's wrong, it's going to be noticed, and it's going to affect the whole picture, the whole business. So it's very important things. And if you look at it like that, I remember my job in the Air Force, I thought I was so unimportant because everybody did it. I don't want to get into that, but I wanted a different job. I wanted that job that nobody else could do. There was this guy, a radio operator. There was a couple of jobs on the plane, like, hey, are we good? Are we good? And we needed this guy to come through for us. But my job, anybody can do on the plane, so I felt so unimportant. And that's a different story. How did I get off into that? Feel free to cut that out.
No, that's true. Because when Kevin would go tell me to do these little things, I figured because he didn't want to do it, that it was a less important job. That's really key, and that's a really sort of teamwork, a very negative sort of mindset that I had because I was so bitter. I was doing something I didn't love, and it churned up all of this bad juju until I started to realize, hey, my job is important, okay? Otherwise, he wouldn't ask me to do it. And it's a sort of meta awareness. It's like, if you're not going to do it and freaking rock at it, it's going to be crap. That part of the story in this person's wedding album is crap, because you didn't take the time and give your absolute best, even in the mundane parts of shooting this wedding. And it's like that with anything, If you didn't take the time to put in the heart into this email, maybe you lost a lead or a client. Or take the time to prep for this phone client interview kind of consultation thing. Maybe you lost a client there. And so all these little things that kind of add up, that's a part of that foundation that you have as an entrepreneur, as a decent person. They're all these little facets. And so it's really important that you give everything. And you realize, yes, everything matters. Everything matters.
Everything matters.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of a text in a book. It's all just, I already talked about text, but when you notice a spelling error, it's like, hey, this book sucks. Just edit it. You know what I mean?
I would be like, oh my God, throw it out. You can't even spell that.
It's terrible all of a sudden. So so it's important.
It is important. So
everything is important. I think if a business is doing it, it's important. That's why they're doing it.
That's why they're doing it. Yeah. I mean, there's a purpose for everything. So the moment, I want to leave you lab rats with this is when you're dreading the task in front of you, realize that it's just it's a piece of the puzzle, right? And without that piece, it's incomplete. It doesn't make sense, or it doesn't feel right, or it's quote unquote a failure in somebody else's eyes, and it doesn't meet their expectations, whatever kind of label that you want to slap onto it. The point is that however glamorous or unglamorous the task is, if it's a part of that, like what you said, that grand vision, that grand scheme of what you're trying to do, then it is equally as important as this thing and this thing. You know, where however you
That's
kind
right.
of label these things, they're all important. You know, level it all
And
out.
somebody's got to do it.
Somebody got to do it.
Somebody's got to do it. That's what ain't gonna.
Somebody got to do it. That's right, man. So,
right.
that's our episode for today on Good Shit Friday. Nice and quick, because I'm using a little bit lower tech. So we're just going to have to deal with that. Closing thoughts for the day here on Good Shit Friday. Dre, what's up with you? What are you doing for the rest of the week?
I'm trying to get back off of vacation mode.
Oh yeah, oh here, let me give you some tips, dude. Okay, here's my suggestion.
Okay, give me some tips.
So right when I got back from New Media Expo, I was like not in vacation mode, but I was just like tired. I didn't want to do anything, but I had to.
Right.
And at the same time, I was like, well, I'm the only one putting that onus on me. Like I have to create content. The thing is, if I sat down and tried to create content that day when I got back, like I probably should have, it probably would have turned out shitty. Like honestly, I just wasn't in the mood. I didn't have the energy. I couldn't bring it at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And so you know what? Like cut yourself a break. You know, if you don't want to make a video this week because you're taking one for, you know, just for yourself to kind of get back to you, like that's fine. And you have to set that you know, environment for yourself. Like, hey, it's okay. It's okay for me to take a break from my vacation. Mm-hmm. And that way I can come back and freaking rock at it next week or whatever.
It was a vacation from the vacation.
Yeah.
My vacation, that Disney World, when you're doing those theme parks, that's work. Getting up early
man. I know, man.
and standing in hot lines and long lines.
I can see it in your Good Shit Friday episode. I was like,
oh man,
he need a break. I was like, oh, he need a break real bad. So like,
I was taking it.
Realize it's okay, man. Like, take a break. It's okay. Don't feel bad about it. I think people feel bad because they want to deliver exactly how I felt. But I was like, dude, it is Thursday. I mean, I can just roll one out in the morning when I feel a lot better. I'm going to deliver a lot better quality, you know, and that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
So, all right. As always, you can join the conversation. You can tweet at us at Megan J Photo.
And I'm Dre at EMIPTV.
And once again, my name is Megan.
Dre. Let's do that all over again.
Best ending ever. Reminding you to get in the lab. We'll see you.
Are you going to keep it?
Yeah, I'm going to keep that. Hell yeah. Hey guys, thanks for hanging out and watching all the way to the end. I hope you really enjoyed that with Dre and I. We have a lot of fun. Couple things are going on right now. I want you to go over to getinthelab.me/join to join my newsletter email list. Other than that, there are a couple of other really exciting things going on besides the live in-person workshop that's going to happen later on this year in downtown Fullerton here in California. However, if you are interested in doing video podcasting, I just created a webinar that you can register for free and watch. And it's a very in-depth tutorial on how I video podcast. So if you're interested in that, I want you to go to getinthelab.me/webinar. All right. Thanks guys for hanging out, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.